All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Six Pack Sports. Your hosts, Drew and Rich. We
Yep.
are rocking episode 21. Hard to believe that we've been doing this for a couple months and we still don't, or still get along and we still want to continue going. We've had a couple heated arguments, but
Hamburger
oh,
Gate almost took it down.
listen, if you can't have different opinions and want to come back the next day and continue being friends, I don't know what's better than that. So, Rich, what are you drinking tonight?
Bought the Sweetwater IPA like variety pack to try a bunch of them. So I had the regular one last episode, and it was pretty good. So this time I got the Sweetwater Mosaic Single Hop Hazy IPA. So it's got like a trout on here. Excited. Feels very Michigan like to me.
I'm very confident those came out when we were both in Montgomery, because I remember drinking those at was it the Railroad Brewery across the stadium?
Oh
And
yeah.
try this new beer.
When we went there, they probably just got them in there. I'm not sure. I think the other can said they probably started in said like founded in 97.
Okay,
So
so they've been around.
Montgomery's about 15, 20 years behind everything. So we would
Good
have gotten it back there in
for everything.
2012, they would have been brand new to the Montgomery scene. They are
Especially
also getting
baseball
the
puck.
Fresh Prince of Bel-Air season 1 in 2012 while we were there.
Montgomery Biscuits baseball, probably 15 years behind in marketing strategies.
Had to introduce them
Burn.
to the internet. Uh,
For the burn
They
noise.
played at a Confederate railway station. Like their stadium was a Confederate relic building,
I actually
railway station.
I loved it.
It was cool, but like it's it's a cool town if it wasn't legitimately racist. If there wasn't a real divide on like 3rd Street where it went from everything being really nice to not. And as a like 22 or 23-year-old having elderly gentlemen of a certain race call you like sir that have no business calling you sir. It was just very strange. It was a very odd place.
Atlanta Highway is what I drove home, and it was just rundown building after rundown building after rundown building after rundown building. It was just like, if
Yeah.
my truck breaks down, I'm in trouble.
It was an odd city. It could have been awesome. Anyway, what are you drinking?
Anywho, I'm going back to my roots, back to a Guinness Stout. You
Love
can't
again.
go wrong with it. It's gonna be a 4.7. We'll see what I say at the end of the episode, but moving on, straight into our first segment. We're gonna have some fun to get started, and then we're gonna get serious. So, a straight up playground style, would you rather? Would you rather have a rewind or pause button? And I'm gonna be a gentleman and let you go first.
Like in life, rewind or a pause button?
In life, in sports, in the
Yeah,
bed.
I
I mean, whatever you want, man.
yeah, dude, rewind for sure, and for a variety of reasons. You do something you enjoyed, you rewind, you can ride the wave again. If you mess up, just let's just rewind here and move along. You're basically a god. You live without consequences.
So let
Now,
me ask you this.
because no, but I'm thinking, let's think financially too. I just go to a blackjack table and it's like, oh, I lost. Well, I'm going to bet a little less. Wait till I get a bet. Throw 5 grand out there, whatever the table limit is. Big cash it, keep it moving, and basically just do that forever. Just rob casinos blind until they ban me. And then like I'm assuming the rewind only goes for a certain amount of time. Like I can't rewind years. I'm guessing.
I don't think there's I don't think there's any sub laws in the would you rather rule book
Oh,
that says
then rewind.
back.
Congratulate. I'm now a time god that can live forever.
Here's my question for you. And this is why I wouldn't want to do the rewind button. So I would agree with all your answers. You can go back, change mistakes, you can go back and make a better bet, what have you. But if I'm going to go back and rewind to when I was starting college and get a different degree, do I got to start college over?
Oh yeah. I think
I'm going all the way back to high school when
I
I
think the rewind it, you don't
went
get
on
to
that
fast
team. I
forward
got
it. Yeah.
all the way back to high school.
Yeah, like you
I don't
rewind and
want
hit
that.
play. Yeah, I don't think I would use it for long jumps. It would be like a little bit. Like imagine a football Sunday. I'm just going to see every team that covered the spread. and then I'm gonna place a 10 or 12 or 15 team parlay, however many games they're playing, make a quick couple $1,000,000, and then just be a rich guy for a while.
So you're going straight financial greed on
Well,
this.
financial, and then let's think about if like if you have an awesome night partying or something like that with your buddies and you want to just go back and man, I really enjoyed last night. Last night was so fun. Or you have like an incredible meal. Say like, oh, yeah, how about us for our diet and losing weight? So like I want to eat like just a McDonald's burger and I just want to I can just crush some food, rewind, have a salad.
Yeah, it's called throwing up.
Yeah, but I don't have to do that. I just hit rewind and then I didn't eat it and then I can just go about my day.
Okay, I get that. Again,
Right?
I get all the benefits of rewind. My personal thing is I don't wanna go back and have to start over.
Yeah.
Also, when you rewind and fix your mistakes, you're not gonna ever learn anything. So I'm
No,
taking
there's
the
a lot of downside.
there's downside
Yeah, I think
because
it's when you get it too. Like
you
we're
fix one
mid-30s.
mistake, does that give you the, like, the uneasy confidence that you won't mess up again?
I'll just
Might
rewind
create a
again.
different mistake
Yeah.
by
Oh,
changing
you're
something.
talking butterfly effect?
I'm thinking
Yeah.
butterfly effect.
Yeah.
Now, with a pause button, this is why I like a pause button. Straight up, Saved by the Bell, Zach Morris style. If I'm in a tight spot, timeout, I'm out. However, this can help out financially as well. Let's say you're
Yeah.
playing blackjack.
100%. Pause.
You get the split eights, timeout, take a look at that card that's next. There's ways
Honestly
that you can cheat the system.
honestly, yeah, you just hit the pause button and then you just pull the cards out of the shoe and stack it so that you get a couple blackjacks in a
In a
row.
sticky situation, timeout,
Pause.
remove yourself, time back in. I'm gone.
Yeah. Like somebody
Also,
like in a terrible situation, like somebody's about to rob you. Pause.
right.
Like in a terrible
Or
situation.
uh, Michigan's going to kick a game-winning field goal. Timeout. I'm running down there,
I don't know.
making the punter muff it a little bit,
It wouldn't be
make
as
him have
sweet.
trouble with the snap. So then my guy, maybe I was there.
I
Maybe I
disagree
was
with
at
you.
that game. Push pause, made that kicker have trouble with the snap, unpaused it, put the ball in Michigan State's hands, and
Would you
ran off.
still enjoy it? Like the win?
Would I enjoy it?
Yeah, like if you went
Absolutely.
out there and did it? 'Cause to me, it's
I'm
like,
enjoying this
"Oh,
pause
they
button
were gonna
with
do it."
every single
Yeah,
opportunity.
alright. Yeah, with the pause and the rewind thing, I do think you have to have the discipline not to go back too far.
Yeah,
'Cause if you go back
I
too
think if
far
you rewind and you go back, you gotta start over right there.
yeah, you don't get to then, like, fix one mistake and then cut back to present day, like, you have to go back and you pick up from that
That could
time.
be some crazy Marty McFly crap right
Right,
there.
so if you go back 10 years, like, you have to live those 10
You have
years
to
again.
live those 10
You
years
have to
again.
live those 10 years again. So
However,
I would use it
I'm
for,
living
like, a
in
day,
college
2.
and
But, like, here's what I think about it, like, say you go on vacation. You could just go on vacation for, like, 2 months. You could check out all the things you wanna see.
okay, let's say you're, sunbathing on the beach.
Yeah.
Timeout, sunbathe forever. When you're sick of it, time
Do
back in.
so do you get to pause? Does can you have people pause with you? Because like, I'm thinking on vacation
I
with a
don't
family.
think you do.
That's what I mean, like, the
But if
rewind's nice.
I'm
Yeah.
vacationing on a beach, I'm gonna time out by myself and just chill out.
I think the real difference in this is
Snag a
that
couple Coronas because they can't catch me.
yeah. It's the moral. I think it's the moral difference on that, like, but the with the pause, you have to live with your actions regardless, and with
Mhm.
the rewind, it's just like you it's a free for all. I could do
It's a
whatever
free
I
for all,
want.
but you gotta start over.
Yeah.
I think that would get tiring.
It would get tiring. That's why I said, like, I think at most a week or 2, you could go back, like a vacation, but other than that, like, you start going back long periods of time, that's when you start probably getting some craziness. Like, I don't wanna go back years.
If I have a pause button, all of my rivals will never win another game ever.
Yeah. I think about the kid thing now too, like, having a kid, I can't go back more than 2.5 years. Because like,
If
if
you to wanna get really, really deep about it,
right?
there was a certain amount of time where that child was conceived,
Oh, I
and you
shouldn't even say I
be
didn't even
there at that time making it
but
happen.
see, I don't know if you could even recreate the exact moment because there's like what, 500,000 swimmers? You hit
500,000. I think
you hit it's
millions.
is it millions of
Maybe
schools?
maybe the
I
billions.
don't think in one load, but, tomato, tomato. What are
Yes.
the odds of the same one getting there again if you
Oh,
change one thing? Yeah, you change one little thing, it's all different.
I mean, are you
So, I
talking
mean,
a semi-truckload? Are you talking a Tonka truckload? Like,
just the one shot
sub,
that got it done, that one.
2,500 Chevy pickup load?
But you get what I'm saying there, so you can't go back
It's
past
different.
that time.
You
Otherwise, your kid's not coming back.
so you're starting to come to the other side of the pause
Oh,
button.
no, no, I'm just saying it's a couple days you use it for. I'm using it for, like, vacation. I'm going on vacation for a month, months at a time when I go. Everybody else, it's like a long weekend, but I was at that bachelor party for, like, 2 or 3 weeks,
Sure.
just
I'll
living
tell you
it up.
what, pause button. None of my teams are losing. I'm never paying for a drink again. If I'm in a sticky situation, I'm timing and getting out.
So you're becoming a thief, and you're ripping college
Oh,
kids'
okay,
dreams
Mr.
away.
High Ground. I wanna go back in time to know how to gamble better. Come on.
Oh, yeah. Oh, I'm robbing Vegas, not college kids from their dream. Vegas ruins lives. I'll take their money all day.
That was garbage.
Mm.
You
You
got
know I'm
caught
right.
in a little
You know how?
hypothetical,
Oh, because I'm gonna
anyway,
take advantage of the casinos who make millions and billions of dollars off of penny slots and feel bad about it. Get out of here. Let's talk Lions football, something we can get excited about.
moving on. Great question. New segment here. We're gonna for the next couple weeks here, as we move into free agency and the draft discussions, we're gonna discuss one name or position in question for the offseason. And the first one for this week is DJ Chark. So let me ask you this: do we want him? Yes or no?
We do want him,
I would
and
agree. I also would like to bring him back.
as I was thinking about, like, he really came on at the end of the season being healthy and thinking about a wide receiver lineup of DJ Chark and Jamison Williams on the outside and
Mhm.
Amon-Ra St. Brown in the slot
Middle.
is nasty.
It's nasty because Amon-Ra St. Brown is never going to get doubled because you have to give attention to those guys on the outsides.
They're so fast that you have to double 1 or 2 of them. There's gonna be too many mismatches with those 3 guys. Somebody's gonna get a favorable setup, somebody's gonna wind up on a linebacker, and it's really gonna be tough to stop, and then you throw in the mix of, like, DeAndre Swift coming out of the backfield, uh, whoever we're gonna have at tight end next year. Yeah, I would really like to see him back, and it's really interesting. So we talked about I know it's on here, I'm gonna kinda flip it, but his salary. So, like, I kinda was looking into that a bit. It's a weak year for free agent wide receivers.
So let me break down what he got last year first.
Yeah.
We gave him a 1 year heavy signing bonus, 1 year deal. It
Mhm.
was a hey, come here. We're going to make sure you get paid very well, but it's on a 1 year deal.
It was 10
10
mil,
million
right?
last year.
Yeah.
Heavy signing bonus, very player favorable.
So I looked at his stuff, and the comparables for him is like 9.5 mil would be where he's kinda trending with his numbers in the market and all of that. Um, Here's the thing, we got 15 mil in cap this year. So are they I think DJ Shark's only like 26 or 27. So he's in
It's
his
going to be like his 6th year in the league, so that makes sense.
yeah, so he's in his prime. So let's say
He
if he
should
came
be
in
in
at
his
21.
prime, yes.
So,
And
like,
with that said,
if we can give him a
2022, he had 30 receptions with just over 500 yards. That was his career low
yeah,
outside of his rookie season.
I would wanna structure a deal for him that was backloaded so that we can sign these first round picks we got or kinda deal them, and let's kick this can. Let's kick this can down the road and deal with this is tomorrow Lions problem. Let's try and backload the deal, and then I want, a lot of it to be incentive based on playing time for
I
him.
would
So, like,
agree incentive based, but I don't want this more than 2 years, honestly. I'm
I'm
thinking
fine with a
between
3-year
2
deal.
years, between 16 to 18 mil. He still gets paid. It's not a high risk because he's gonna be gone in 2 years.
Yeah. what I would wanna do would do, like, a 3-year, like, a 5, 10, $15 million deal. So, where he's getting 5 this year, 10 next year, 15, and then kinda like this next year or 2, a lot of it be based on, like, his percentage of snaps is how he gets it. Like, he plays 60% of the snaps, and he hits, 80%, triggers his 80% salary bonus. Structure it some way like that. Just because that was the only kind of issue with him this year was he was dinged a lot, and I want to see him out there with Jameson next year. Brad Brad Holmes has done a really good job with the roster, so I'm pretty confident in whatever he does. I
I'm
have
pretty
faith in
confident
him.
they're gonna bring him back. I just hope we're not aggressively overpaying for him.
Well,
That is my
here's
biggest
the
fear.
thing. So I looked at the free agent market. It's a down year for wide receivers. I think Chark is like the third wide receiver, top three, number three wide receiver in this
Well,
year's free agent
question
class.
for you then, is he a wide receiver 1 on some of those bad teams?
Oh, yeah, I think so. Like down in
He's
Houston,
a wide receiver 1 in Chicago,
Chicago,
Houston,
Houston,
Indy.
Indy, it'd be kind of in the air between him and Pittman, but you can definitely make the case. Baltimore, he would be wide receiver one this year. There's a lot of places that need wide receivers. Here's the thing: next year, there's a lot of wide receivers coming out, so that's where, like, can you get through next year betting on Jamison Williams and betting on Amon-Ra St. Brown, who have, I think, like 4 or 5 million guaranteed between the two of them because they're under rookie deals. Um, and I
Another
could
thing
be I
about
could be wrong
Baltimore
on that.
is, today they franchise tagged Lamar, so
Yeah. So he's a
I don't
but I
think
mean,
he's gonna.
I say quarterbacks regardless. Like, do we bet heavy on those guys? Because honestly, Josh Reynolds has played well. I don't hate him coming in the slots. Like our third receiver would then really become our kind of if. So to some of those other guys, they have like Quentin Cephas and Josh Reynolds, and some of those guys say we can make the leap. I want to see him sign Chark though. I want to see him figure it out. I think they would be just almost uncoverable.
I agree. Everyone's gonna be a little bit better, I think, next year as well with one more year of experience. The fact that Williams is gonna have a full season, obviously, they're gonna be quicker,
Yeah, they're going to be fast if we
open
sign Chark.
open the field. So overall, I'm glad that we agree on this, and, yeah, let's bring them back. Why not?
Yeah, I think so. Um, the only
Yes.
thing that leaves it is like we don't have a lot of cap room, and we need so much help on defense to figure out some of that. So that's the only knock.
Alright, moving on to the NFL playoffs, because Drew, myself, sick, we skipped all of
Talking
Divisional
about
Round.
himself in the third
Might be a little
person.
bit of old news, but we're still gonna discuss a little bit. First thing I wanna talk about, the Bills and the Cowboys are going backwards.
Well, I mean, the Bills, isn't this how far they made it last year? Because the AFC Championship game was Cincinnati, Kansas City last year, wasn't it?
Yes, they so back-to-back years of but it was a close game with Cincinnati or whoever they
Yeah,
were playing
they
last year.
got stomped
They
this
got
this year.
stopped. They're going backwards.
Yeah, I'll give that one to you. They looked early in the year like they were the best team in the NFL, and
Yes.
then the second half of the season, they really fell off. So,
Losing Von Miller is a
it's
clear
crazy.
sign of their defense not being as well as it could have been,
Their
both,
defense was good last
athletic
year
and
without him.
leadership-wise, but
They're a team that I would be kinda nervous on right now just because they have kind of all the pieces and they struggle. And you're looking at it, and Cincinnati's just gonna get better. Kansas City's not going away. So this is kind of their opportunity to strike. Otherwise, then kind of comes a reset for them and figuring out how to get the right people around Josh Allen and how to keep that defense competitive.
and Kansas City is not going anywhere.
Kansas City's not going to change. Like they got rid of Tyreek, who went to Miami and was the second best wide receiver in football, and they didn't miss a beat.
Didn't miss anything. They
They
just
brought in
spread the route
Juju.
more,
They
almost
brought in
even
Juju
better.
Smith Schuster and they improved. Like I don't understand. It makes no sense. So I think the Bills, big question mark. I'd be worried. I still love Josh Allen. I think he's incredible. I think the defense. I don't know. That was a weird game. Cincinnati's pretty good. I think we'll talk about the Kansas City Cincinnati game, but I think Cincinnati's going to be really good if they can get a few more offensive linemen on that team.
And let's keep in mind here, Joe Burrow, year 3.
Dude, Joe Shiesty
He's year 3.
he's
His
fun to
buddy
watch.
Chase, year 2.
Is this the year that it really like we got the official changing of the guard? We've got Trevor Lawrence and Justin
100%.
Herbert. We've got Jalen Williams. We've got Joe Shiesty, Josh Allen, Aaron Rodgers didn't make the playoffs. Tom Brady, first round out, losing
Trevor
to Dak.
Lawrence almost beat Kansas City.
Trevor Lawrence gave Jacksonville a shot at the end
Granted,
of that game.
Mahomes got hurt, but your boy Chad Henne came in and won that game.
92-yard touchdown drive from my boy.
By the way,
17th year in the league. I forgot he was still in the
here's
league.
what's really funny about Chad Henne is I'm watching that game and I'm sitting on the couch being a bum, drinking a beer, and I'm like, dude, he's old. What a loser. What is he still doing in the NFL? So I Google him. I'm older than him, which is it's hard. It was extremely hard for me to like grasp because I'm making fun of a dude who is a professional athlete being old, and I'm older than him. So
How
that
old is Henning now? Is he 35?
he's like a month younger than I am, so he's 37.
Incredible.
He's not even like
37
he's
in the
like
end.
2 weeks
Like,
younger than me.
as a backup too, they're keeping him on staff as a glorified assistant coach.
I mean,
Like he's
he
a
was
player
good in
coach.
Miami, Chad.
Yeah, he
He
had
was
like
great, but
glimpses.
he's a serviceable
Yeah.
backup now.
He never had like a real team around him to get a real shot. But yeah, I agree.
Yes.
Um, Eagles. So I saw an interesting stat about the Eagles. We'll talk about their kind of San Francisco and the Giants win. They took the 3 easiest paths to the Super Bowl of like the last 50 years. And one was Tom Brady, I think in
Brady
2017.
probably like 5 times.
No, it was Tom Brady in 2017 when he went against Bortles, and I don't remember who the quarterback was in the divisional round, but they got Jacksonville in the AFC Championship. I don't remember what the third one was, but the Eagles have had the easiest road to the playoffs in the last, or into the Super Bowl in the last 50 years, and it was by like quarterback against by having Daniel Jones and
Brock Purdy.
and
Can't even
Brock
name
Purdy
his
with
thing.
Brock
He wasn't-
Purdy with one arm, and then Josh Johnson, who's still in the league
And
somehow.
Purdy came back in, and he was quoted after the game saying there was no way he could throw it over 10 yards.
Yeah. Well, I was laughing when they almost put Christian McCaffrey in. I was like, and I was really excited for that game because I've said it on this podcast. I think San Francisco has been probably the most complete team all year. I mean, you see it how good they were, even with Brock Purdy. I mean, 3 quarterbacks, and they still were the number
Best
2
defense
seed.
in the league.
Yeah, their defense was unreal. Their offense has so many weapons, and adding Christian McCaffrey, that team's going to be fun to watch. And I think you're right. Even Tom Brady said that's where he wants to go now. Like you said last week or 2 weeks ago. Regardless, the Eagles have looked good. The Eagles have looked strong. So Dak, though, moving on to Dallas, Dak gets his playoff win. Back to the divisional round. Dak gets his first playoff win. Happy for him on that because I mean I don't like the Cowboys, but I don't hate the Cowboys. I'm indifferent on them.
But Dak didn't get it done the next week.
And they had their chances.
Really scary about Dallas, and I think that this is going to blow up on them in the next 2 to 3 years. Dak Prescott cap hit on salary for this year, 19.7,
which is pretty standard for like top 15 quarterbacks.
Appropriate, still move some money around, share the wealth to get some weapons. Next year, 49.1 cap hit.
That's insane.
That is going to destroy that organization and send it back another 5 years.
Goff's isn't that bad. I think he's due 30 one of these years coming up, which is a lot.
It's a lot, but
it's not 50.
It's not 50.
49-1. Let's give him what he's got.
But
on the flip side, like
any momentum that Dallas has going into the offseason, because
it really seems like they were mortgaging their future on like these next 2 years because they signed CD to that extension. I think he's due, and then they signed
and it's failing.
Yeah, and they signed Zeke to that big deal, which is why Amari Cooper walked.
Zeke is, unfortunately
Zeke's
probably
over.
a top 15 serviceable running back now.
He's not the best running back on his own team. I mean,
I think Pollard's leaving, but
yeah. I mean, that's the rumor, but, like, who knows what
Zeke
they'll
is
do.
very good
Jerry gets
under
a
2 yards.
stick up his thing. So I had Zeke this year on my team, on my
Yeah,
fantasy
of
team,
course.
so I watched a
You're
little
touching
bit. He's still pretty good. Like, Tony Pollard just played so well that people were like, "Oh, you gotta get rid of him." Zeke still made a lot of plays. Like, he still looked really good between the tackles. He busted a couple nice long runs. He's not he's not 5 years ago Zeke. He's not
no,
year 2 or 3 in the NFL
and
Zeke.
we're seeing that a lot in the NFL is you get about 4 or 5 years, but
It's
the
that
thing about Zeke in
28-year-old
fantasy
mark.
thing about Zeke in fantasy is you
He's a
take his
touchdown
scores away
vulture.
you take his scores away,
He's terrible.
he's nothing. He's
Yeah,
top 40.
he was very touchdown dependent to be valuable this year.
I had him on one of my teams too, and I you
I
just
saw
trade
it.
him,
So
you get a goal line or a
speaking of
goal line.
Dak's salary cap percentage hit, I saw an interesting thing. I want to get your take. In the last like 20 or 25 years, there's only been 2 teams where the quarterback had more than 12% of the salary cap, or salary percent hit to their team that have won the Super Bowl, and that was Peyton and Tom Brady. Every other team has had a quarterback with 12% or less, including Kansas City, because Mahomes didn't sign his major deal yet. And the
Interesting.
reasoning is because you can sign better players, but I think golf is at like 13 some percent and going up. So it'll be interesting to see what the Lions do after his deal's up next year.
I think he's the quarterback for 2, 3 more years, but
Yeah. Well, he's like 27 or 28, right? So I mean,
push him
he
push him
could
someplace new.
theoretically,
Fine.
if I want to get on the train here, if we can sign him to a decent
So
deal,
moving
like
on
he
to
could
the
actually
championship
be coming in
week,
his prime.
starting off with, the blow up by the Eagles. Um,
Yeah. Let's not even talk about it. Purdy got hurt. The Eagles torched him.
yeah,
Should have been a good game if he doesn't get hurt.
San Francisco's in an injury headache. They were all year. It is really devastating though because they have such a very good, well put together team, and they are
Yeah.
very well coached. But when
John
you're
Lynch
missing your
and
4th string quarterback in a
what are you gonna
championship
do?
game, you're not winning the game.
No. No. A regular season, maybe you squeak it out. Not in the NFC championship game
Um,
against an Eagles team that has been pretty dominant this
Pretty
season.
dominant. I honestly, we've been knocking them last couple weeks saying, "Oh, they might get upset. They're nothing without Jalen Hurts," blah, blah, blah.
Jalen's that
But
guy.
this is kind of a hot take, but I think they have the best offensive defensive line combo that I've seen since the '90s Cowboys. I'm talking about the combo. They're not the
Yeah.
best in their own respect, but
Right.
combined
Yeah, best offense and defense. Uh,
together,
Not one or the other. No, hard to disagree. They're just
they
old, but,
dominated the
like, they get
trenches
it
in
done.
San Francisco.
Like,
Dominated both sides of the trenches.
did you see they picked up our boy Ndamukong Suh on Philly? Made me happy to see him getting in there and still, like, mixing it up
He's a
after the play.
serviceable, athlete.
So good. Yeah, like, Jason Kelsey, like, Lane Peters, um, really good on the offensive side. They have been for a long time. Fletcher Cox, my boy, on the outside there. Oh, Brandon something. They got on the outside of Philly. I remember because he was like a year or two away from me in high school, and he was like Brandon Graham
Okay.
on the outside, and he was our age in Michigan coming out of high school, and I just remember hearing about him out of Detroit going to Michigan, and then watching him in the pros has been cool. Yeah, I think the only offense that really compared with them until this past weekend was San Francisco. I think their whole defensive line is like first round picks, and offensively, they've been able to run the ball as good as any team in the NFL, a la Philly, and Philly owned the trenches. So I think they kind of settled that debate. You nailed it. Like they've got the best. trenches in the NFL.
with this blow up by the Eagles, I think it's sad to say that the bigger story of that game was Bosa's brother engaging in fights with Eagles fans.
Oh, I saw
It's a
that.
bigger story than the game.
Just walk away. Like, you are a number 2 overall pick. You're multimillionaire, and he's drunk in the parking lot yelling at Philly trash. Walk away, bro. Like,
Um,
roid rage to the nth degree.
when I'm drinking, I have a problem of walking away from comments
Yeah.
myself. So I get why Bosa was trying to defend himself.
Yeah.
You're right. Walk away, dude.
There's no benefit because, like, so
0 benefit. You're not
I
gonna you're not
you
gonna
can't win.
you're not gonna win that argument. And
You
even
can't
if you do
win.
win the argument, what do you win?
Yeah, that's what I mean. It's there's no win for you. So, like, his argument was, I'm rich. I'm in the NFL." It's like, yeah, dude, why are you wasting your time talking to a Philly fan? Like, that's clearly trying to goad you into saying something stupid
And he
and,
did.
like, chirping him, and he got under his skin, and you could see Bosa was so mad. He wanted to hit him so bad, and just his friends, like, it's bad when your friends are like, "All right, man, like, let's go now. Come on, Nick," or "Come on, Joey, let's go."
I also like
Um,
seeing NFL players with their friends, and their friends are like normal sized people.
he was a head taller than everybody. I think it was his girlfriend or somebody there, and she was probably
Sure.
5'2", 5'3". He looked like 2 or 3 of her. It was incredible because they look so normal next to each other. Like, it's also my favorite when the trainers run onto the field, and it's like a 5'8", 175-pound doctor, and he looks like a child.
Right.
Yeah, it was, if you haven't seen the video, just Google Joey Bosa yelling at the Eagles fans, and it was just a bad look for
It's
him.
a bad look. Walk away.
Yeah,
But again, that's a bigger story than the actual game, unfortunately. Big
yeah,
blowout game by the Eagles.
annoying.
Moving on to the game that went down to the wire. Uh, quick question for you to start it off. Do you think Kansas City won this game or did Cincinnati lose it?
I do think Kansas City won it, but there were some iffy calls in that one, and I'm usually not a refs blew it guy, like a refs gave it to him, but this one, the call, the the penalties, seem to clearly favor Kansas City. Like, the plays that got waved off and gave them a second try on third down was really weird. It just felt odd. I don't think, like, a fix was in. I don't think that was the case. It just seemed like there was some weird calls that all happened to be breaking Kansas City's way.
So here's why that's acceptable to say. We don't have a dog in the fight. We don't
Yeah,
we might want one team to win over the other, but we don't have a dog in the fight. We're not emotionally attached to the franchise. We're allowed to say the refs were bad this game. If the Lions were in this game, we were like, "Oh, the
correct.
Lions the refs didn't want the Lions to win." We look stupid.
Yeah,
But
we're
because we don't
homers
have
in
a
that.
dog in the fight, we're allowed to have that opinion, I feel.
I
And
was rooting for this game to come down to the final drive. Like,
right.
I just wanted to see a good football game. But it definitely felt odd. Like, there was just weird holding calls, weird no calls. Like,
They got an
it
extra play.
yeah, the extra play. Even like, the call at the end was clearly a penalty on Mahomes when the guy pushed him
100%.
aside.
That
But
was a bonehead play.
yeah, but
As soon as
that's
I
so,
did
like,
it, I was like,
that's not
"Oh,
what I'm
that's the
yeah.
game." You
He
just gave
knew
up
it too.
15 yards to kick a
Yeah.
close to field goal.
It took it from, like, a 58 yarder to a 30 or to a 42, or from a 48 to a 33,
Big difference.
something like that, yeah, and really gave him a shot because the kicker wasn't. I think he was kinda dinged, but, yeah, I think again, I don't think a fix was in. I know that's been trending, like, the NFL is rigged and all that. I 100% do not believe the NFL is rigged. If you've ever met college athletes or pro athletes, A, there's no way they could all keep that secret,
Yeah.
and B, they're
They're
way too
so
competitive.
damn competitive. There's no
Yeah,
way that they lay down and let something happen.
even for the money, like, it's not gonna happen. Um, yeah, it felt like KC won it because when they had their opportunity to go down and end it, they did, but the reason they were in the situation to have a shot to win it, Yeah, it was weird. The game overall, the game felt really weird. It's the only way I can describe it.
I agree. Um, I think this was a game that rattled Joe Burrow a little bit. Um, Not his best game, clearly, but I again want to remind everyone this is year 3 for him.
Yeah, he's like 23
They're
or
going to get
24
so
years old.
much better, and
Mahomes is only like 27. We're going to get another decade of these guys going at it.
right. That was going to be my next comment. This is a rivalry now, and we might see this game for the next 5 years.
I'm really hoping this becomes Brady Manning. Like these guys are
I agree.
always there in the hunt. That's what I want to
It's going to be
see.
better than Brady Manning too.
That'd be awesome. I would love nothing more for that. Like I will say though, Mahomes playing on one ankle, doing what he did, 5 straight AFC Championship game appearances, 3 trips to the Super Bowl. Like this guy is putting together a resume if he can win a few more Super Bowls to really be one of the greatest to ever do it. If he can win another Super Bowl,
There's
especially this
definitely a lot of
year,
storylines that we can talk about
we
for
can
the
get
Super
into
Bowl
that.
in our next podcast, but
Yeah.
kind of a sneak peek of that. This is a big game for Patrick Mahomes because they've been repping him as this next dynasty.
Yep.
You go 1 and 2 in the Super Bowl,
2 and 1 sounds a lot better than 1 and
and
2.
one's a lot better than 1 and 2 when you were already crowned the future dynasty. So we can deep dive into that, some Super Bowl storylines in our next pod. But for
Yeah.
right now, this is a rivalry, and I think we're going to see this game.
If they're the next
Yeah,
Brady Manning, does that make Josh Allen the next Aaron Rodgers? Gunslinger, constantly on the outside,
I think that
maybe
makes
gets
it more of
one.
a Philip Rivers.
Philip, yeah, I guess until he gets there. Philip. Yeah,
I
that's
love it.
good. I'm good with that.
Okay, enough about the games. My last little thing here, and I heard this on the Valenti show today. That's a local sports radio station here in Michigan. Um, do we have a referee problem in the NFL? And the main thing that they talked about, and I know we just talked about how the referees were kind of influencing this last game. But do we have a referee problem in the NFL? And what they talked about on the show today, and I'm going to give them credit for because I think it makes a lot of sense, is the NFL doesn't have full-time referees. The
Mhm.
NBA, full-time refs. MLB, full-time refs or umpires. That's their career. That's their job. The
Yeah.
NFL still has part-time guys that sneak in and they have full-time jobs on the side. If the
See, that's what I
NFL wants to
thought.
fix this, make the NFL referees a full-time 365 job.
So I was
Hire
I
them, let
I
them practice together, make them meet together, let them work out together,
film study, review, the
film
whole thing.
study, yeah,
So
and
here I
if
was
you're
kinda
not
thinking
making the
of
cut, you're out.
I was kinda thinking the same thing because I thought I didn't know. I knew, like, when Ed Hockley was in the league that he was a lawyer for his day job, and he
Yeah,
came and did
he's
this, and I wasn't sure if it changed, so I Googled how much an NFL ref makes, and it's like 200 to 250K. So I was like,
it's
"Oh,
good money.
they must
They
be
could do
full-time."
better
I
at
would
a
do 2
quality
things.
product if they just
Yeah.
focused on that.
I would do 2 things. 100% make it a full-time job,
Mhm.
go into film, be accountable, like, you not necessarily get fined, but, like, you maybe have some guys in the wings where if you don't call a good game, you sit out a week and another guy comes in and gets that check, or, you have, bonuses into your pay built on by, like, missed calls or stuff like that. Maybe, I don't know, but something to make it their number 1 priority year round. The second thing, stop dicking around with challenges. Let's get, like, 5 or 6 guys or, 1 or 2 guys for every game sitting back in New York that are literally just watching every play, and if the spot is wrong, if it was a fumble, they just buzz in, like, "Hey, it was a fumble, spotted at the 20 left hash." Like, there's no reason to do these
Yeah, yeah,
long
move on.
drills.
Quick
Yeah.
little comment. "Hey, sorry, that was
Hey,
wrong.
hey,
Put
you're a
it to
little off.
20." You don't even have
Correct.
to make an announcement. We'll put it on the screen.
And what drives me nuts across sports when people are like, "Well, that's not
What are
how
they
we."
doing in that
They're
box?
like they're like, "That's they're watching it." I'm like, "Why are we doing this? We have somebody in a room with giant TVs that can zoom
That's
in
making the
and know
decision.
exactly where it is, that can just tell them, 'Hey, this is what happened.'"
That's what
Let's
baseball
I
does.
wanna see the correct calls. And I get so sick of the purists that are like, "Oh, well, that's not how we did it back in when we started in 1920." I was like, "Yeah, well, we were also driving Model Ts. Should we go back to that?
Yeah,
If
we
we
don't we
had the
also don't have a forward
technology."
pass yet, you
If Yeah,
jerks.
we're running the triple option. Do you wanna go back and see that? If we had the technology, this is what they'd be done. I wanna see the correct calls more often than not. So let's get done with the challenges. Just don't even buzz. Just say, "Hey, oh, you missed that spot. Move it up a little bit." Make a quick announcement so like the fans and people and people know what's going on.
Mhm.
Like we just uh update from New York or whatever they can figure out the verbiage for it. Correction from New York, from the NFL, ball will be spotted, 2
I
yards.
wholeheartedly
Yeah.
agree with all
Let's
of that.
just keep it going. Same thing with like pass interferences, fumbles, incompletions. You saw it in the Philly San Francisco game in the first quarter. Devonta Smith caught that go route down the left sideline. He knew he didn't catch it,
Oh,
and
everybody and
they
their
had their
mother knew
hands
he didn't
signal.
catch that, and Philly's like,
In
"Hey,
well,
we gotta get the
that
next
was
play,
it.
next play."
In real speed, you can't tell, but he knew, so he looked at him and he's like, "Let's go." He was doing this
Yeah.
little hand signal to Jalen, and they ran the next play. Um, Big ups on Nick Sirianni for having his team coached to know if a
To
big
know
play
that.
gets hit to go and run a little off tackle power play or whatever
They
they did.
scored on that next
Um,
play.
yeah, like that's good coaching, but at the same time, let's just get the correct call. I don't understand a counter argument to having the correct call made every time.
I agree, and if there's
Also,
an
define what a catch
organization
is.
that can afford to allocate funds to make this right, it's the NFL.
Yeah, their TV contract is like $8 billion and supposed to be set to go to I think 12 billion in the next couple of
If
years.
you're an
I
NFL
think
referee, that's your full-time job, and you make $500,000 a year.
let's pay them
You wanna
half a million each. Submit
Sure,
to FBI so that like gambling and everything is above
yeah,
board, and full transparency with their finances so we know they're not taking bribes and all that. And yeah, every day. You work the Sunday game, you Monday, Tuesday off for travel and like relaxation, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday film, Saturday you're in your next location, Sunday you're doing the game.
you're working out, you're on the treadmill
Yeah,
together,
you're running, doing all
like,
that stuff.
that was the reason, the Chiefs got that 5th play is there was kind of an overweight guy. You saw him run over there,
Yeah.
he's like his hands on his knees, he's like, "Oh, the play is gonna run, shoot."
I will say
Offside,
this for the refs, they get the call right a lot,
a
and
lot.
we get spoiled because we get to see everything in slow motion and super slow motion. I love when they show it in real speed. Like, you can't tell how close they get on a lot of these spots on short yardage plays, how close they are on a lot of these calls on
That's
catches
right.
and everything. They do a pretty great job for
But,
being a part-time
Richie,
guy.
there's a big but. There's a big but here. Let's make it perfect.
Why not?
That's
Like,
what
there's
I'm saying.
and I do think with the amount they're already spending, like, on technology to do it, they've got all the tools to make the correct call. They're just saying,
Tools,
"Let's
funds,
let's not do it yet."
and people who want the job.
Yeah.
There's no reason why they can't have the best
Honestly, you're
set
telling
of
me
referees
for
in all of
200 and 250K, like, I'll apply. I'll be a ref for 250K. I'll get yelled at by a coach.
final sip on the final sip on that at NFL. Yeah, I'm tagging you in this. Make it right.
Yep. I don't think we have a referee problem. I think we have an overall officiating procedure problem. They have the solutions already there to fix this. They've got the technology to have people in New York watching every angle. Fix it. Just make the right call. You've already got the technology. You already do it when coaches throw a challenge flag. Just do it all the time.
Right. I agree.
All right.
Moving
No
on.
dogs.
Oh, dogs.
No dogs.
Oh,
So since we didn't get to make our picks last week because we
we
skipped the
we
pod
did
because of
behind the
this,
scenes.
we get texted each other and made our picks, which are irrelevant because both home teams won, so we
Both
lost.
teams.
I took Cincy at Kansas City, so at least I had a shot at the end. Uh, Drew took San Francisco, and here we sit. We're both three
And
and
the week
three.
before in the divisional round, you took the Giants at Philly, which was kinda Tampa Bay-ish
Yeah,
bad. Again, I think we need to make a rule that if your team gets blown out, you lose a half a point,
yeah, I think we
but
can do that.
that's something for next
Um,
year to think about.
I
So
think
I
that's next
gained
year.
a point back on you.
Yep.
So
So
it's
we're
tied
tied
up
up,
3-3 going into the Super Bowl,
and
and,
I think we just pick against the spread here. Or do you
I
wanna
think
do
we
it's
just do
pretty
being
much a
tied
pick 'em.
3-3, we just do a winner take all.
Do you wanna do that? 'Cause, we don't have to do a road dog because there's only
There's no
one.
road, but
Yeah. It's
final game,
Do you have a preference
I'm gonna let you go first.
of who you wanna go with?
Do I have a preference of who I
Yeah.
want to do? I have a preference,
Of who
but
you
I
would pick.
also could argue either of these teams winning.
I have one that I think is gonna win that I'm picking that I would if I'm the first, but I'm curious. Do you wanna, like, write it down at the same time or say it at the same time who you wanna pick?
No, I'll be a gentleman. You can have
Alright.
first pick here.
I'm rolling with Patty Mahomes. I'm taking KC.
Okay. That's great because I was actually gonna pick Philly, so that
I had a
works out.
feeling, yeah. Philly, it's just their road in the playoffs has been too easy. KC, they got that dog in them. They're fighting through injuries. They're getting it done. I'm taking KC. I think they're gonna.
I honestly think this is gonna be a blowout for Philly.
Well, no, but
Yes, I think we're gonna see another Tampa Bay, Kansas City Super Bowl where Mahomes just looks childish.
no, no, no,
Oh,
no.
I mean, you're allowed
He's.
to have that opinion, but I think
You
that
are
might
allowed.
Philly
That's
has
not me saying.
outscored their last 2 playoff opponents by, like, 78 to 14.
Yeah, but that was Daniel Jones, one-armed Brock Purdy. Like, this is
I get
Patrick
that,
Mahomes. This
I get
is
that,
one of the most prolific offenses in history,
and he
not
only
just
put up
this season,
and he
in
only put up
history.
20 against Cincy.
Yeah, well, that's what happens when you play good teams. I'm not saying they're gonna put up 50 on them, but I do think they'll beat them. I'm saying, Kansas City over Philly, and it's gonna be, like, 20-25. I think we're gonna get a weird score, like a maybe a missed extra point or a safety or something crazy. 25 to 18 to 17, 25 to 17.
I think Jalen Hurts is gonna have 4 individual touchdowns in this game. 3 passing, 1 rushing,
Accounting? Yeah.
38-24 Philly.
Ooh, no, I'm taking
By
so we're
clutch.
completely opposite sides. You've got KC or you've got Philly in the over, and I'm going KC in the under.
Fine. I just want a close game, honestly,
Yeah, I
because there's nothing worse than a blowout in a Super Bowl.
no, I
It's
agree.
just a total party buzzkill,
We've
and
been kinda
people at the
spoiled.
game are like, "Okay, let's
Yeah.
get it over with."
We've been spoiled in our lifetime with some really good Super Bowls.
Were you old enough to remember the St. Louis, Tennessee Super Bowl?
The stretch at the 1 yard line to finish, that was, like, one of the first Super Bowls that I really remember watching. I remember watching, like, Super Bowl 30, it was Pittsburgh, Dallas. I think that's the first Super Bowl I really remember watching. So, I'd say for the last, what is it, we're on, like, Super Bowl 50, 51, or 52 now?
Sure.
Yeah. So,
Can't
like,
remember what
20.
number it was, but it was February 1st of 2004, and the only reason I remember that is because it's my wife and I's, started dating date.
Hmm,
It was Super Bowl. It was the Panthers and the Patriots, and I said pregame, "Pats over the Pans by 3," and it's, like, stuck in our relationship forever. She's like, "How did you know that was gonna happen?" I was like, "I know sports.
right? And that's
This is what I do."
Vinatieri's game-winning
I
field goal to
literally
win that
called
one, right?
"Pats over the Pans by 3," and it was like she fell in love at that moment, like, let's be honest.
What a just romantic you are.
I'm awesome. Rate your beers, my man.
Again, pretty good. for IPAs, which aren't my jam, I enjoyed it. Mosaic single hop hazy. This one's a little more bitter than the last one, so I'm gonna go 3 out of 5 on this one. Drinkable. I'd maybe get it again if I was feeling it, but
No need for me to rate the Guinness because everybody knows they're great. Um, that's it for today. We'll be back next week to talk Super Bowl storylines because let's be honest, there's a lot, Rich. There's a lot of things that we can talk about.
I think that's all we talk about next week is the Super Bowl,
Sure.
and if there's some breaking news or anything good.
And if we have some time for a would you rather or a builder six pack,
Oh yeah, yeah, of course.
overall,
Maybe it'll be Super Bowl related. Would you rather six
all right.
packs?
So I'm out of here. See ya.
So yeah.